You're watching the morning news on Global Edmonton.
Well, traveling outside of Canada while staying connected can be costly and very confusing. David Papp, who is an online security expert, joins us now with some advice on how to stay connected safely. Good morning, David.
Good morning.
Nice to see you again. Thanks for coming in. We're talking about the holiday season now. It's approaching the winter time. Many people will be taking off to warmer climates and that type of thing. And we're going to get to a few interesting discussions here, one of which is payment. When you're away traveling, should you be paying with your Visa card? Should you get traveler's check? What's the best way to do it?
It's always a question, right? What I recommend is, it depends on the country you're going into. Some of them, I've traveled all over the world. It's usually best to just go with cash. You know, I mean, if you can.
Go with cash or get your cash out there?
Both. Because you don't want to be walking around with huge amounts of cash, of course, right? Always have a small, low-limit credit card in your back pocket. Like, it might not be your primary one, and usually have at least more than one credit card, because if one gets declined or you need to shut it down because, you know, of unauthorized charges, then you've got your other one that you can use just in case. But always have that low-limit one.
So you're saying to use that pretty much for emergency purposes, to rely on your cash for the regular
Depending on the country. Some countries are completely safe on credit card. The concern is that there's other countries I've traveled to, especially in Asia, India, and whatnot, where, I mean, the minute literally that you go and use your credit card, there's unauthorized charges that are going through on it. It's just the way things are. There's a lot of credit card skimming occurring out there, so they're swiping it while they're walking back to make the payment, and
I see.
It's unfortunate.
Scary.
But
that's
yeah,
scary.
Yeah.
What about the use of Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi's in hotels and on streets and the coffee shops, that type of thing?
Yeah, I get asked that all the time, including those little internet kiosks in the hotel lobby. Generally speaking, if you're going to do things that are, I would never do online banking on those, put it that way, on local Wi-Fi, even in a coffee shop and stuff. There are people who are sniffing, listening to the airwaves. The concern is that you don't know that it's a secured connection. Even though your web browser might have a connection on it that said, okay, this is a secure connection, it's got the little lock symbol on it, you want to be very careful with that. If you're only doing brief little email communications, sharing photos and stuff, don't worry about it. The best, though, by far, is to buy a local SIM card in the country that you're traveling in. You're going to save a lot of money. It's very inexpensive, generally speaking, $10, $20 to buy a little SIM card. You have to make sure that your phone is unlocked, but that's the way to go.
So you're saying that's the route to go, because now some of the wireless companies are advertising, you know, X amount of dollars per day gives you unlimited while you're on the road. You're saying you're better off to go with the SIM card if you can.
Because you know that your device is secured, and it's not going over public Wi-Fi networks, and the airwaves are between you and the carrier, whoever the cell phone carrier is. It's much more secure than going with local Wi-Fi.
Okay, what about communicating with your family while you're away? What's safe to go on Facebook and Twitter and that type of thing?
Well, here's the problem, is that for Facebook, for many people, is a popularity contest. So you're trying to connect to as many people as, and you don't actually know who's connected. And it's dangerous to advertise, hey, come on over to my house because I'm going to be away for the next 2 weeks and nobody's going to be home.
Well, it's funny that people don't think that, though, because everybody goes on holidays, they're posting all their pictures, and you're right, somebody's looking at that going,
Exactly.
Yeah, okay, so that's something you need to be careful
You need to be careful of. But I mean, I agree with communicating with family and checking in regularly.
Okay, what about managing your photos? That's always a big deal. Do you keep them on the phone? Do you go to one of those websites that will manage them for you? What's the best way to do that?
The best way is to always make sure that you have more than one copy of all your photos. So you want to make sure that if they're on your device, whatever it is, your camera, or a lot of people are using their smartphone now, making sure that you're making copies of all those photos somewhere else. If it's on the cloud, you're using some kind of iCloud, not a problem. It doesn't matter to me as long as you have more than one copy. And then the next thing is managing those. So try to categorize them in folders that make sense, you know, by date and by trip. Don't just have a big mess of photos. I mean, we all like to, it's too easy now with digital, right?
Sure.
We'll take thousands
One
of
other
photos.
quick question. We're getting a wrap on this. We're running out of time here. About managing your itineraries, your car rental, confirmations, hotel,
all this paperwork.
That type of thing. Yeah.
A trick I use is an app called Dropbox. Many people use it for sharing files and whatnot. The beautiful thing about that is now you just take a photo or scan it and you store it inside your Dropbox folder, but inside the app, mark it as a favorite. And because it's a favorite, it will now have an offline copy. Doesn't matter if you don't have a Wi-Fi connection, you don't have a cell connection, you will have access to your documents on your device and more than one copy. So it's a great way to have access to those, and then you don't have to carry mounds of paperwork along with yourself.
Excellent. Thank you very much, David. For more on what we've discussed today and, of course, the whole issue, you can follow David on Twitter. You can check out his blog. We give you a couple of different options. The information is up on your screen now.